So, you've got a great business idea. That's fantastic. But you know, a great idea is really just the spark. To turn that spark into a successful business that actually lasts, well, you're going to need a blueprint. And in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to build that blueprint together, step by step.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way right up front. It's a pretty harsh reality, but most new businesses, they don't make it past their second birthday. It's a statistic that can feel, a little scary, but trust me, understanding this is the absolute first step to making sure your story is different.
So why? Why do so many businesses with passionate founders and brilliant ideas just fizzle out? Well, when you look at the data, it almost always comes down to one single thing: a failure to plan. They're just reacting to problems as they pop up, instead of having a map to navigate the road ahead. So if planning is the key, how do we do it right? Where do we even start? Well, to figure that out, we should probably learn from someone who's already navigated this territory. We need an expert guide. And our guide for today is Stephen Wood. This guy is the real deal. He's been a business consultant for over 2 decades. He's written 10 books and a whole bunch of guides for leaders. So yeah, he's seen what works and what doesn't. We're going to be diving into his book, Practical Tools to Grow Your Business, and zeroing in on the chapter called Business Planning: How to Plan Your Business for Success. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to look that reality of business failure right in the eye. Then we'll start building your blueprint for success. We'll break down the essential pieces of any good plan, look at different styles you can use, and talk about the mindset you need to actually pull it off. And then we'll figure out your first step. All right, let's get to it. Time to start building your blueprint. This is where we take the fuzzy idea of planning and make it a real solid strategy you can use. Now, this is so important. A business plan isn't just some boring document you write for a bank. Not at all. The real value is the act of thinking things through before you jump in. It's how you stress test your own ideas and seriously reduce your chances of becoming just another statistic. So what does this focused thinking actually look like? What are the big ticket items you absolutely have to think about? Let's break down the essential building blocks of any solid business plan. Stephen Wood boils it down to 5 crucial areas. First up, you've got your preparation. That's your homework, your research. Then you've got to nail down your offer. After that, it's all about delivering the cash, because that's the lifeblood of the business. Next is your leadership and team. And finally, you got to think about protecting your investment. Let's talk about your offer, specifically the idea of value. People get this wrong all the time. Value isn't about your costs. It's what the customer gets. Look at the slide. Value equals the customer's benefits divided by their outlay. And outlay isn't just money, it's their time and effort too. This is why you have to focus on benefits, not features. Don't say, our drill has a lithium-ion battery. Say, our drill lets you finish the whole project on a single charge. See the difference? That's the benefit they're buying. Oh, and this quote just nails the biggest financial mistake new businesses make. It says, profits are like food to eat, but cash is like air to breathe. Think about that. You can survive for a little while without food or profit, but you can't last 30 seconds without air or cash. Businesses don't fail because they're unprofitable on paper. They fail because the bank account is empty, period. Stephen Wood has this great concept he calls the rocket model, and it is a game changer. There's a huge difference between working on the business and working in the business. The leadership's team's job is to work on it. They're steering the rocket, figuring out where it's going. The working team is in the business, handling the day-to-day operations. Your plan has to make sure you're doing both, so you don't get stuck in the weeds and forget to actually fly the rocket. And last but not least, your plan needs to protect all your hard work. 2 key things here. First, your terms of trade. These are just the rules of the game between you and your customers. Second, your legal structure, and this is a biggie. Are you a sole trader, where you and the business are one and the same? Are you in a partnership, or are you a proprietary limited company which creates a legal separation between your personal stuff and the business? That choice has huge implications for your personal risk. Okay, so you get the core ingredients now, but what does the final dish look like? Does this have to be some massive 20-page document? Well, the good news is you've got options. You can pick the style that actually works for you. So on one end of the spectrum, you have the full detailed plan. 10, maybe 20 pages long. This is what you take to a banker or investor. It's got all the financial projections, risk assessments, the whole shebang. But on the other end, you've got a simplified plan. It's much more streamlined, cutting right to the chase. What are your targets? Who's your market? What's your offer? How's it all going to work?
And then there's maybe the most powerful tool of all for just getting your thoughts in order, the one-page plan. This thing is brilliant. It forces you to be crystal clear. You have to distill your entire business down to one single page. Who you're selling to, what you're offering them, why you're different, a rough idea of the numbers, and the big problems you need to solve. It's an amazing way to cut through all the noise. So which one is the best? The detailed one? The simple one? The one-pager? The answer is yes. The best plan is any plan that actually works for you and gets you to think. Seriously, the goal here isn't to create a perfect document to put on a shelf. The magic is in the process of thinking it all through. A plan is an incredible tool, for sure, but it's just a piece of paper without the right mindset driving it. So let's talk about the engine that's going to power your blueprint forward. Let's talk mindset.
It really does start with passion. Building a business is tough. It's going to test you in ways you can't even imagine. And there's a famous quote from Steve Jobs that just says it all. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. That love, that passion, that's the fuel that's going to get you through the hard days.
But passion isn't quite enough, is it? You have to match it with action. Nolan Bushnell, a legendary entrepreneur, put it perfectly. He said, the true entrepreneur is a doer, not a dreamer. So many people have ideas. The ones who succeed are the ones who actually do something about them. Your plan is your pledge to be a doer. And that action has to be consistent, day in, day out. Your plan isn't something you write once and forget about. It's your guide for consistent activity. When things get chaotic, and trust me, they will, your plan is what keeps your head clear. It brings you back to what's important. It's your anchor in a storm.
Okay, we've talked about the why, the what, and the how of business planning. But now it's time to make this personal. Let's turn all this information into your action. I want you to take a second and do a quick self-assessment. Think about those 5 core parts we talked about: preparation, your offer, cash, team, and protection. Out of those 5, which area of your business or your idea feels the weakest? Where does your blueprint need the most attention right now?
And finally, let's make this real. Not the big, scary 10-year vision, just the next step. Based on everything we've just covered, what is the first, single, smallest action you can take to start building that plan? Decide what it is right now. Because that tiny first step, that's how every roaring success gets started.